Hi guys.
Hi, Graham. This is Sonya.
Hi Sonya.
Harry. Is Sarah joining us?
Yes. I'll just add her now.
I clearly do not know what the hell time it is.
That's fine. That was not your fault.
I for some reason I thought that you guys were what did I say, 9 hours ahead of us?
I think so. Yeah.
No, just because I told you it was around 9 hours, and then.
Well, because it's 3 hours to New York, and I thought it was 6 hours, but maybe I was thinking it was 6 hours to like England.
Whatever.
I don't know.
I'm like way declining video here.
There's
Sarah's declining video. Fair enough.
That is fine. That is fine. It's an audio podcast, so that's perfectly fine. It's a bit rude, but you know, whatever. I'm just sad now, but.
Graham,
Yes,
apologize for.
I have to look pretty in right now. Opposite of pretty.
Well, Sarah, you can only participate if you were dressed as Princess Zelda, so...
Well, I do happen to have a costume. I actually made that dress 3 times, so I have 3 costumes. I can dress all of y'all as Zelda.
Can you go as Sheik?
I'm not sure how we're going to believe that if we don't see anything, actually.
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
So, guys, where did it all kind of start with the Zelda Project? Like, you obviously all must be fans. So,
Yeah.
whose idea was it to really get this going?
oh God. Okay. So, it's kind of a long story.
That's grand.
I'm trying to figure out how to put this. It was a crazy scheme. A friend of mine named Joellen, there's photos of her on our website dressed as Princess Zelda.
Yep.
She and I were in a convention in Mexico, and we were there as guests to do something. And one night we're laying there exhausted while cheerleaders were flipping down the hallway in our hotel and mariachis were playing outside of our window. No joke, 4 a.m., we still hadn't slept, and we're just kind of like, we should do a really cool project involving Legend of Zelda costumes. And our 4 a.m. delirium turned into a PowerPoint presentation that we showed to the convention at around 10 a.m. the next day, and thus the project was born out of just wanting to do photo shoots with cosplayers dressed up in costumes. And then in, I think it was 2008 or 2009, we were in Europe, touring Europe, hitting up conventions there, and I think either in Germany or Amsterdam, we were like, we should do a movie too. And then we just sort of, it just snowballed into something bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I ended up falling into the YouTube scene where I met Tom, and now we are going forward with the actual final battle.
Yeah.
Which is the film that we had thought about making a long time ago.
And it is a long time in the making. That's 6 years. That's an incredible amount of time and effort that you guys have clearly put into this.
Yeah, nobody can say that we're not crazy, because we're definitely crazy.
I think that Sarah is insane.
Yeah, it kind of seems it.
Insane.
I don't know anyone that uses delirium like that. I don't know anyone who uses delirium like that to such effect.
I stick with stuff, guys. I don't, in the face of adversity, and let me tell you, there has been much adversity with this project. I have stuck with it. When I say I'm going to do something, by God, I'm going to do it.
So, how long did it take before you found your link? Like, was it always going to be Wes? Or did you go through a bunch of links?
You're going to giggle. Originally, back when we were just doing it as cosplay, the guy that we hired as Link ultimately became my boyfriend. And then, after about 2 years, that ended, and he moved away. And he was not really a cosplayer. He was a gamer, but he wasn't really a big cosplayer. And when we first approached him and we were like, "Hey, we'd like you to be Link," he was like, "Yeah, sweet, that would be awesome." And then he actually found out that cosplaying was rather uncomfortable, and sometimes required pulling many hours of being uncomfortable. And he didn't like it. So when that relationship ended, he was happy to, part ways. And at the same time, we met, Joellen and I actually met Wes on set for a movie called, I think, Zombies at the Center of the Earth. And Nazis at the center
okay,
of
yeah,
the
there you
Earth.
go, there you go.
Because that's where Nazis hide.
Yeah, or the moon, or the
Yes.
moon.
Or the moon, yeah. It's a little easier at the center of the Earth. It's
Yeah.
less-
It's a warmer climate.
So that's where I met him. Joellen did makeup on that movie, and she introduced him to me, and he was really buff and the same height as the previous Link, and had an absolutely beautiful young face, and he looked great in the costume. So we were like, woohoo! And, he is extremely charismatic. He's very motivated, and the entire thing inspires him. He loves doing it. So I pretty much feel like I found Link. So I'm very happy with him.
And can I ask, have you guys found Ganondorf? Can you talk about that?
Sort of.
The quest is ongoing.
Because you probably need like a guy who even dwarfs Wes. You need a guy like that.
I mean, we need a guy. I mean, yes, we do definitely need a guy like that. But first and foremost, we need to get someone who's going to work well for combat, because there's going to be a lot of stunts. We're also we need someone that has the right. I can deal with height. I can use camera tricks to make somebody look a little bit bigger if I need to. But
that's Tom Cruise's whole career.
Yeah, exactly. We put them up on Apple boxes. Yes. But the real trick is we just need someone that looks right, that isn't going to look absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. If you watch some of the other live-action fan films out there, they've never really done Ganondorf well.
No, they really haven't.
It's an ongoing process of finding the right person and figuring it out. And Sarah and I have been actively really, working on that aspect of it, because Ganondorf has to look awesome. Yes. Has to look stupid, but has to look like the character, and we can't veer too much from what the character looks like, because then we'll get hammered by people, commenters and whatnot.
And
Let's
so
make no mistakes. We're going to get hammered either way.
That is true. Like, I mean, haters are always the first commentators.
You can answer your note, so it's totally fine. I mean, I don't really care, but I wanted to. What we're trying to do with this one tonally is, the thing with Legend of Zelda. It's a really hard property to translate into real life, because frankly, a lot of things. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's awesome. I love the game. I've been playing it since I was 6 years old. The original Legend of Zelda. I got that when it first came out, the gold cartridge and everything. But it's it's a guy in like elf clothes, with a big shield, fighting like another dude like orange hair, and I mean it's tough to make that work, especially on a no budget. Even if we had like $1 million to make this, it would still be a difficult thing to figure out exactly how to translate it and not make it silly. So my number one goal as the director is trying to tonally make it feel and look as real as, I don't know what that buzzing is that I keep hearing.
Yeah, I keep hearing it
sorry,
too.
Sarah. I'm sorry.
Is that Sarah?
It's my iMessage on my laptop. I'm trying to figure out how to
but just trying to kind of like, all right, so there's some film series that have accomplished really well, sort of creating a look and feel of a world that otherwise people never thought would have done. And I would say like the original Lord of the Rings trilogy did that fairly well.
Yes. Mortal Kombat I liked.
What's that?
Mortal Kombat I liked. The original.
The original Mortal Kombat, for something that's as ridiculous as Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
I mean, so that's the thing, is like I'm trying to figure out a way to really do it, make it awesome, and not make it, still make it fun, because it's it's fun. It's Legend of Zelda, but it's the final battle. It's shit's real on this thing. So.
And Sonya, how excited are you to? I have watched Player Piano. I just watched your Akira theme. How excited are you to bring the world of Hyrule to kind of like the big screen, I suppose you could call it?
I am
really excited. Like, really, really excited because I love working with Tom because Tom is a fantastic director and we just have such an amazing collaboration. And I'm just very excited to translate that collaboration from player piano to Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be fun.
There's two pieces to the puzzle, too, because the final battle is we're going to create this awesome live-action short film, which is basically an action scene of the battle between Link and Ganondorf. So we're going to film that, and then Sonya's going to take that and score.
Yeah, because usually the scoring process is the last piece of the puzzle, because first, you have pre-production, then you have production, and then you move to post-production, where you have music and editing and all those sort of things. So that's the last piece of the puzzle, so we still have to go through all this process before we get to the music part, but I think that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, we're also planning, and we're working with Sarah on this as well, we're also planning a player piano Zelda music video that'll be released around the same time as the final battle. And that one, we actually, it's the complete opposite, where we start the music.
The fun thing about
Sarah is all about just interrupting things. Sarah.
She's very busy. She's very busy.
So the thing about player piano, it's usually exactly the opposite type of process when you have in movies, because in movies, music is the last thing that you get to. So first you have to have either the final cut of the film or like more or less the final cut before you want to start scoring it.
Yeah.
Now, with player piano, it's exactly the opposite, because since we shoot the music video, so first I have to create the music, I have to arrange whatever, musical piece we're going to be doing, then we'll record it, then go mix it, and then only after that we can go and actually shoot the music video.
Yeah.
So it's a very different process than it usually is, but...
And I think actually it's going to work out really well for the final battle, because by the time we get to the point where Sonya is going to be able to do the music for the final battle, it will be after Sonya has written so much Zelda music for our player piano video that she's going to be familiar. I mean, we're going to, with the last battle is, it's recreating the last battle from Ocarina of Time. So we're going to be using musical references from Ocarina of Time. But for our music video, we're gonna go all over the map. We're gonna do
because the whole point of player piano music is that I create all these arrangements, but I don't want them to be literal covers. I want them, to be arrangements and kind of sort of take that music in a different musical direction.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm planning to do with the Zelda player piano video. But then, versus for the short film, I kind of want to keep the original reference, but at the same time, bring something new and something exciting to that. Yeah.
It sounds so exciting. I mean, you have teased one or two images. I know I've looked at your website. Your wallpapers are very nice, and I will say there is one thing that really kind of stuck out to me. Dark Link was there, and is Dark Link going to be in any way associated with the final battle? Because I'm a big kind of fan of the antithesis heroes. Like Bizarro, Joker, all that kind of characters who are on the opposite side. Is Dark Link going to be in it, or was that just like a little bit of fan service that you gave?
That's a Sarah question. I'll let Sarah address that first, and then I'll follow it up.
No, there's not going to be any Dark Link.
No,
I've considered thinking of ways to include Dark Link just because he's such a popular character.
Yeah.
But the final battle is pretty much supposed to be a cinematic translation of the boss fight and of the humanoid Ganondorf boss fight. So there may be some surprises in there that we will be showing to you guys, but so far in the process, there's not going to be any Dark Link fighting or anything.
Damn.
But, Graham, to follow that up, when we, in addition to the last battle, which is the big one, releasing the player piano video around the same time as the music video, and there might be an opportunity for Dark Link. Maybe he's playing some instrument. I don't know.
Awesome.
Definitely. That would be sweet.
Dark Link playing a dark piano. I don't know.
So, guys, I mean, like, once this is up, when did you decide it to be Ocarina of Time? Because there are so many iterations of battles between Link and Ganondorf all through the years. What made you decide Ocarina of Time? Was it because it maybe is all of your favorite it's your favorite game, or is it because maybe it would be the most cinematic? What was your kind of thing going ahead with choosing Ocarina of Time over, like, say, Skyward Sword or Twilight Princess?
Originally, when we first started coming up with the whole Zelda Project idea, Twilight Princess had just been announced, and I think that either we were in the middle of playing Wind Waker. I can't remember the timeline exactly because it was so long ago. But when we originally decided to do this, it was the 3D Zelda that was still foremost in our minds. And since then, since the inception of this whole project, of course, there have been many Zelda games that have come out that I would love to translate. But I suppose for me, the choice to do Ocarina of Time, at least back in 2008, 2007, whatever year it was that we decided to do it, I was still heavy into Ocarina of Time being my favorite one. I'm not to say that I don't also love the first three, but Ocarina of Time sort of shaped my sense of being a gamer. It really got me into the whole gaming scene in high school. So for me, at least, choosing to do Ocarina of Time as a fan project was purely based on passion. And of course, now there's lots of different games that we could do. But back then, it was definitely, this is my favorite game. I totally want to see it brought to life. I want to have my hand in doing it. So that's pretty much why.
Yeah, I would follow that by saying that Ocarina of Time is not my favorite Zelda game. Not that I don't love it; it's amazing. But I am old school. First Legend of Zelda and Link to the Past. Ocarina of Time is amazing. The reason I think Ocarina of Time makes sense is it's the game that really, I think, brought Zelda to a whole new level.
Yeah.
And it's the one, if you're going to look at any of the modern Zelda games, like Ocarina of Time, is still the daddy of all these other Zelda games. I mean, like, all these other ones are great, but they're not. Ocarina of Time just had so much going for it. It's the first one that wasn't overhead, even though actually that's not true because Link, The Adventure of Link, which was not my favorite game.
Not a lot of people like that game.
But I think it's just the one that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
If you're going to pick any Zelda game to do, it would probably Ocarina of Time. It's the one old gamers and new gamers are all very familiar with. It's probably, that version of Link is probably the most famous version of Link, I think, that one. So, it's got all the elements that everything else has basically been based off since. Yeah.
So then, would you say that, you said there's been a lot of new Zelda games since the inception and from now. Have you seen elements that maybe have been in other Zelda games that maybe you've decided to borrow elements from, like something that maybe to bring tone and further shape to the Ocarina film?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely, there's some slight modifications that, that Sarah had already made going into the Link costume, and that you can see in that teaser. So it was the outfit from Ocarina of Time. However, it was also, Sarah had made some modifications to kind of make it a little more, like, bring it into the real world a bit. I think we might go a step further, and Sarah and I are still sort of talking about this, but I think bringing, the costume was very much based off of what it looked like in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
But I think that we could probably bring a little more element as far as, like, some like chain, like a little chainmail, like kind of like how in, I think, Skyward Sword, he's got like a little bit going on.
Yeah.
And whatnot. I think that will help add to the realism a bit. Sarah right now is like, nope, I'm not doing that. But
I'm not stubborn at all.
But I think there's certain elements that we can change. The shield will be a different shield than what we used in the teaser.
Oh.
Yes. Yes, definitely. That let me just chime in on that. The person who made that shield was extremely generous, and he's a very talented prop master. We needed something that could be lightweight enough to not beat the absolute hell out of Link while he's riding on the horse, for 16 hours, in the summertime. And we also needed something that wouldn't fall apart from the amount of jostling it was having done to it. And the props that we currently use in our pictures, which are absolutely gorgeous, are also extremely delicate. It would not have held up. So this generous prop maker pulled a mold of one of our existing shields and just painted it quickly with what paint he had on hand and used it with whatever material he had on hand and mailed it to me from across the country. So,
Wow.
I mean, we really weren't in a position, or nor did we have a budget to really be fussy about the quality of the shield. And it was a generous contribution from somebody. So, that being said, of course, once we have our budget, obviously, we will be able to do things, including upgrading armor pieces and costume pieces and stuff in the actual final battle film that we were able to do in the teaser.
Yeah. And we won't have to worry about Link being on a horse again. So,
Oh, no more Epona?
Yes,
Oh.
for finish, though, of the horse.
And also, you guys are talking about the stunts. How visceral, how violent a fight is this going to be? And also, will Wes and whoever you choose as Ganondorf, will it be them, or will you have stunt doubles as well?
I think we're probably going to end up using a combination of both. I like to, from a directing standpoint, I like to use the actors as much as possible.
Yeah.
And whoever we cast for Ganondorf will be a stunt. He'll be a stunt actor. So that's part of we're trying to find a stunt actor that fits that role, but can be that stunt actor. Wes, depending on the shots, depending on what happens, we might switch him out now and again to do stuff a little more violent. But there will be a lot of Wes will be very active in it.
We definitely should not tell Wes this, of course, because Wes is loves to do backflips and do all that crazy stuff too.
And he can do that, can't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, it'll be mostly Wes. I mean, he's gonna pick up his roles. He's gonna do all that stuff that Link. But we're probably gonna want to throw him in against the wall and do some stuff that he may not, depending on how it all shakes out.
Yeah.
It may or may not make sense for him to do it.
It's all depending on the actor's safety too.
Yeah. But how intense is the battle going to be? It's called the final battle, so
Yeah.
Link isn't going to show up. He's not just going to show up and whack him 3 times and the guy dies.
He's gonna play ping pong real quick with a little lightning ball.
Yeah.
But I was actually thinking there.
Maybe Link won't win. I mean, I played the game. I don't beat Ganondorf.
So there'll just be a to be continued or something, or game over?
We'll do special releases every couple views. You'll see it. It'll be completely different.
That'd be amazing.
I do that on YouTube, so I'm not.
But I was just actually thinking there, the best actor I think you could go for with Ganondorf is the guy who plays the mountain. He's only 26, and he's the size of
he's pretty beastly.
Yeah, and he's 26. He's my age. He's 26. It's crazy.
That's for sure.
He'd be great, actually. Will you actually will there be much dialogue, actually? Because, in the games, there's not really that much. In some iterations, there can be, but will there be any dialogue? Wes probably will have none, but will Ganondorf?
Oh, yeah, of course. We've got to have the evil monologue.
There'll be dialogue. It'll be very much in line with what happens in Ocarina of Time. Link is, though I will say for the record, I don't subscribe to the idea that Link never talks. I think that's just silly. I think in the games he talks. You don't really see what he's saying, but people react as if he's talking. So to say that Link never talks is stupid. And for people that are talking about the Netflix show and saying, "Oh my God, they're going to have to do a show where Link doesn't talk the entire time,"
that's not really feasible.
Because, I'm sorry, no one's going to want to watch a show where the main character doesn't talk.
It could be a dialogue thing. You could choose a dialogue tree, and each episode, everyone chooses what Link says.
Yes. So that's the thing.
Yes or no.
Yeah, so people are just absolutely ridiculous. That being said, in this short film is Link going to be talking? No, we're gonna avoid that. There's not gonna be any Link. You know,
monologue, having long dialogue.
I mean, no. Well, we might add in,
you answer yes.
Yeah.
That would be funny.
No, it'll be fine. He won't talk much. No, that's not because I don't believe Link talks.
Well,
we're going to avoid it.
But you were saying there, Tom, and you reminded me that the Netflix show is coming. How do you guys feel about that? Like, you're all fans. Like, how do you feel about the fact that Netflix is making a TV show about Zelda, and you know they've had a good run.
Let me just interject there. Yeah. As of 2 days ago, Nintendo addressed the rumors. And pretty much said that they were false. They said that as of now, Iwata said it. He said, as of now, I have nothing new to share with you in regard to the use of our IPs for any TV shows or films, but I can at least confirm that the article in question is not based on correct information.
Wow, I hadn't actually seen that. That's very interesting.
Yeah, and that was the thing. I remember when that article came out, saying, first off, I was like, this is an article by, what is it, the Wall Street Journal or the Washington Post?
Wall Street Journal, yeah.
Wall Street Journal, and there was no actual like comment from Netflix or Nintendo, and I was like, okay, well, clearly this isn't actually happening. If it's happening, it's extremely, extremely like just basically starting to talk with each other about it and not actually happening.
Right.
Because usually you don't. Because they're like, oh, it hasn't found writers yet. Okay, well, then it means it's not actually happening.
Not yet. Maybe they're having creative discussions. Who knows?
Yeah, that being said, it means like one dude called up an intern or something, and they're like, oh my god, Netflix is talking about doing this.
Would they so guys?
That being said, I don't really believe that Legend of Zelda makes a lot of sense for a TV show from a live action standpoint. I think they could do an interesting anime or whatnot.
Yes.
I think it's primed and ready to be a set of movies. I think they could do that, and I think some filmmaking team could figure out how to do Zelda well. It would just be really tricky.
Do you have a dream team?
What's that?
Do you have a dream team that you think could do it?
Well, I think maybe Sarah Quillian, Sonya Belousova.
Hello, Joy.
No, I mean it's hard to say because even until you're in it and developing it and figuring it out, it's really tough to say this person would be great because like a couple years ago I might have said Peter Jackson, but then The Hobbit came out and I'd be like, I don't know. I don't think.
Did he lose you at The Hobbit?
So, yeah.
Did he lose
That's
you?
a really different story.
Yeah, that's a whole different.
That's a whole other podcast.
It should be somebody that, frankly, is not a huge, completely successful person, I think. I think it should be someone who's like an up-and-comer who is hungry to do something great. And understands the property and understands not to make it just a CGI crap fest.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be the thing. It needs to be someone that really, finds the heart in the story and isn't just about making things look really cool, So,
and that is hard these days.
Yeah.
So, guys, you were just talking there about, I was talking about player piano and that, and your music, and also this work now. Have you heard much response from like people who own the work, like Akira or Zelda itself now? Like, did you hear much from Nintendo? Like, have they expressed, oh, thank you for this or that, and like anything?
I will say, well, two things. There's licensing issues that are at hand. That the majority of my work is making sure that we clear things before they happen. So, for something like Zelda, has Nintendo reached out to us and said thank you for it? No. But they have we have run it through their program, and we're not getting any takedown notices or anything like that. So, so we have that. When it comes to player piano, like the people that did Akira, no, I don't know if they saw it. I know when we did.
I mean, it depends on what we do because, for example, when we did Ghost Walls, which was music by David Arnold from Stepford Wives, Yes, I talked to David, and
Oh.
he actually liked it a lot, so he was very excited about that.
Yeah, so David was the composer of the original.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, so he was very excited by the Ghost Walls.
Yeah.
So yeah, it depends.
Yeah, and when we did the Tetris music, the Tetris company, they actually reached out to us and helped us promote it, and they were really excited. When we did previously, we had done The Walking Dead, and
Robert Kirkman?
What's that?
Robert Kirkman?
No, not Robert Kirkman, but Lauren Cohen.
Oh!
And
Melissa
McBride, was it?
I think so.
Yeah. Anyway,
some of the cast.
That's lovely.
Tweeted it at us, and we really enjoyed it and whatnot. So we do from time to time we get stuff, and it's exciting. But officially Nintendo coming out and saying thank you for doing it. No, because it's Nintendo, and
they're very protective. Yes.
It depends. When it's something like Nintendo, which is a big company, it's one thing. Versus where it's a single composer like David Arnold, since I know a lot of composers because it's a very small circle of people. Most of them have seen our works and they love it and appreciate. So it depends.
Yeah.
It's just so interesting. I just want to throw this at you. Say the stars align and everything really works out well. Would you go for a second film? Would there be another favorite thing that you've always wanted to do that maybe this has given you the confidence to go for even further? Like, is there another project out there that maybe, I don't know, you drop a line, maybe a Final Fantasy VII project, who knows?
Final Fantasy 6.
Oh, ooh, nice.
6 otherwise known as the greatest video game ever made.
Agree.
And Zelda. Those are my two favorite games, that and Zelda.
Which one was it, did you say, Tom? 8?
Final Fantasy 3 in the US or Final Fantasy 6 anywhere else.
Yeah, 6 was... I actually played 7 first. 7 was my first one. And then I played 8, 9, 10, and then 6.
Yeah.
And then I played 12 and did not like it.
Yeah, honestly, I probably shouldn't say this, but Final Fantasy, after 8, I played 9, and I didn't really enjoy it that much. And then after that, I kind of fell out of it a bit.
Yeah.
But all the Final Fantasies leading up to that, I absolutely loved. But regarding film projects, we have a couple. Sonya and I, she works as a composer, and I'm a filmmaker, and we, have all sorts of other projects other than player piano. But regarding player piano, we have a few non-music video projects that we're working on. We're hoping that that'll translate into a feature project
nice.
next year, whatnot. So
yeah.
And Sarah, what about yourself? Any things that you'd like to maybe bring as well? Maybe another Zelda game. There's been a lot now that have come out. Maybe a Hyrule Warriors. We could have everyone in it.
You are so funny. I hope I can honestly get Zelda out of my system with this. I'm not really sure what the future holds. I'm totally down with Tom with the FF6 thing and with the FF7 thing. So we will see.
Yeah, well, guys, listen, thank you so much. Would you like to just drop a line just to our listeners just to say where they could catch you on YouTube or on Twitter?
Sure. Sarah, why don't you go first?
You can follow the Zelda Project on Twitter as Zelda Project, and you can follow the website, www.thezeldaproject.net, or find us on Facebook as The Zelda Project.
Player Piano, our Facebook is facebook.com/playerpianovideos, right?
Facebook.com/playerpianovideos.
Now, Twitter is
at playerpianovids, VIDS.
Yeah, vids.
And then our YouTube channel the actual channel name is Player Piano Videos. If you go to YouTube and you just type in Player Piano in the search bar,
name is Player Piano,
it'll come up. We've done Tetris, and we've done Street Fighter, and we've done the Zelda thing, and
we have some cool stuff coming
out. Next week we have Bohemian Rhapsody coming out, or depending on when they're listening to this. Bohemian Rhapsody, you're going to get a really awesome Doctor Who thing coming out soon, so that's going to be fun.
And I'll be sure to make sure that all the links are put into our videos.
Great. Yeah, and the other one is our official website.
The website is playerpianomusic.com.
Yeah, so playerpianomusic.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, listen, thank you so much for being on Speakin Geek. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you. I can't wait to see the final battle, and I'll be very interested to see who you get to play as Ganondorf. Can't wait for that.
Absolutely.
All right, well, guys, thank you so much.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.